Hello everyone, this is the Real Black Otaku. For those who don't know, I am a major shipper. It is something I do fairly often, it's something that comes fairly natural to me, whether I want it to or not. With that in mind, I'm going to count down my top 10 favorite shipped couples in anime. For this list, I selected my favorite pairs of characters that I feel would have made a great couple, but didn't for whatever reason. These reasons could range from it not happening so far, if it'll ever happen at all, to one of the characters end up with someone else, or even the death of one of the characters involved. With that last criteria alone, I have to give a spoiler warning for this entire video. If you haven't seen the series mentioned, it'd be best that you skip to the next entry. I did my best to avoid entries from harem anime, but I let a couple slide for one reason or another. I also excluded any and all entries from Fairy Tail, because I do not want to reveal the characters who I ship that I have not already revealed, and I didn't want to resort to using Gajul and Levi for a second time. However, I'll give you a little hint to who my favorite Fairy Tail ship is. I've got a playlist on my other channel dedicated to this ship. With all that out of the way, let's get to the honorable mentions. Today I have a full list of 5 honorable mentions. They are from Black Cat, Kill la Kill, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Soul Eater, and Madoka Magica. You can go to the honorable mention video by clicking right here or in the link in the description. Let's kick this list off with an old classic. Number 10 is Wolfwood and Milly from Trigun. First things first, I know there are people who ship Vash and Meryl, but I just don't see it. Anyway, many of the interactions between Wolfwood and Milly started as rather cute, but as the series progressed, they seemed to grow closer towards one another. This sweet and almost childish insurance agent had begun to soften this hardened assassin priest. We're going to say that these two did become an official couple, but even so, the love was short-lived when Wolfwood eventually got shot and killed, his death being a major blow for Milly. This was a bond that I love to see, and it hurt to see it end so abruptly. It was also a bit disappointing to see that this wasn't any hint towards this bond in the Badlands Rumble movie, but then again, Wolfwood didn't have much screen time in there anyway. Despite only being number 10, it means a lot to be on this list at all, seeing just how much shipping I do. When people mention romance in Code Geass, it's usually a question of who do you ship with Lelouch. While I have gone on record and say that Shirley would have been the best love interest for Lelouch, I decided to go with a couple that people tend to overlook. Number 9, Suzaku and Euphemia. You can actually see something beginning to develop between them from when they first met. Even though they may have tried to keep things professional when Yuffie chose Suzaku to be her personal knight, I have a feeling that there was some bonds developing between them. Unfortunately, one thing led to another, which led to another, and you know where this is going. While we may never know how Euphemia felt towards Suzaku, I think it's safe to assume that Suzaku had begun to fall for her, seeing as how he reacted after her death. This was a beautiful love story in the making, but was cut short, landing the spot at number 9. This next one is one that irritated me with how it would end up. If you've seen day 4 of my 12 days of anime, you know who it is. Number 8 is Kyosuke and Kuroneko from Oreimo. When I started the series, I actually shipped Kyosuke with his childhood friend Monami. However, as they finished season 1, I had started to ship him with Kuroneko. However, things didn't end so well with this ship. As anticlimactic as it might seem, I recommend you go watch day 4 of my 12 days of anime for more details. Moving on! Despite this next entry being from a visual novel adaptation, there was no room for any real romance in the series. However, this is one subplot where I feel the romance was done rather well. Number 7 is Satoshi and Shion from Higurashi. Shion's upbringing was very rough when compared to her twin sister Mio. But however, things began to get better for her when she met Satoko's older brother Satoshi, and she started to become attached to him. Unfortunately, Satoshi went missing and is assumed to be dead. Shion didn't take this so well, and became desperate to try to find out what happened to him, and one of the timelines ended up killing several people, including her grandmother, Suzaku, Euphemia, and indirectly Riko. It would later be revealed late in Kai that Satoshi has been in a coma since he went missing 1 year prior, bringing a little bit of hope that if Satoshi was ever to wake up, things might work out for them. This next couple is from one of my all-time favorite anime, and it's one that really surprised me. Not that it happened, but what happened as a result. Number 6 is Kamina and Yoko from Gurren Lagann. When I first watched Gurren Lagann, I actually thought it was going to be Sima and Yoko getting together. But then again, I was still very new to anime at that time, and was unaware of the tsundere archetype which Yoko falls under. With that, it caught me off guard when, at the beginning of episode 8, Yoko actually kissed Kamina. Looking back at their interactions leading up to this, it was a great setup for something beautiful. Unfortunately, this didn't last very long, because Kamina ended up dying later that episode, beginning Yoko's infamous kiss of death, a fate which Kitan would later fall victim to as well. Though the romance between Sima and Nia is without a doubt the main romance of the series, this is definitely one worth noting. It was a love as short-lived as the man himself, and it earned this spot at number 6. A little disclaimer for this next one, it is a Yuri ship. If you have an issue with that, then deal with it, because I have no problems with same-sex shipping as long as it doesn't feel too forced. Looking at you, Death Note. This might be a cliche choice given the series, but for number 5, I chose Madoka and Homura from Madoka Magica. It may not seem like it at first, but Homura's feelings towards Madoka were the driving force behind the series as a whole. Madoka had saved Homura's life. She is the reason Homura became a magical girl, and is the reason why Homura has repeated the same timeline for Madoka knows how many times. Though these may not be romantic feelings towards Madoka, Homura had definitely become a little attached. Attachment that may have gotten a little unhealthy once you start talking about rebellion, but that's a topic that warrants its own video. Even so, this is a bond that I just love to see, albeit one-sided. I want to see where this goes once Rebellion finally gets a sequel. Then I might even love him even more for it. But until then, it stays at number 5. If you recall at the beginning of this video, I said that I'd avoid entries from harem anime. This next one is one of those that slipped through. But that's because I wasn't very fond of how it ended in either adaptation. Number 4 is Yuichi and Mai from Canon. As I had just stated a few seconds ago, I disagreed with the choice of having Ayu being the main love interest. Though I admit it was done a tad better in the original adaptation. One of the few things I would say the toy adaptation did better than the Kyoto anime remake, but I digress. I think part of the reason why I love Mai is because I have a bit of a bias towards Dandere like her. But that aside, I think she would have been the best choice for Yuichi. They had great chemistry, and their history together was something I was really able to feel for. On top of that, the fact that Yuichi is a major factor in Mai's dilemma, and that he is the only one who can save her, really resonated with me. I may have disagreed with the end results, but I'm still grateful for the moments that these two had together. I'm going to sidetrack a little bit for this one, but bear with me for a second. I posted a poll on a key fan forum I'm a part of, asking who is the best girl in Mill Busters, the popular choice being Rain. And given my pre-established bias towards the Dandere archetype, you'd probably expect me to answer with Mio. However, not only do I say that this character is best girl in Little Busters, but I think she would have been the best choice for Riki. Number 4 is Riki and Yuiko. Now you might be asking, why do I ship Riki with Yuiko when I have Riki and Rin as an honorable mention in my top 10 favorite anime couples? Well, simple answer, it's a little complicated. kinda like how I say Katomi is best girl in Clannad, despite Nagisa actually being on my top 10 favorite anime characters list. Anyway, why do I ship Riki with Yuiko? Well, a large part of that is that, at least in the anime, Yuiko is the only one of the girls to show any romantic feelings towards Riki on her own. It's because of the Little Busters, and Riki specifically, that she was able to understand the value of friendship and be able to feel emotions. I'm actually rewatching Little Busters now, and the little moments that they have had together so far help strengthen my feelings for these two. For example,
I think lilies would make a perfect backdrop for a sexy pose.
Oh yeah? You mean like this? Oh! You are so cute, Riki-kun.
kiss, damn it!
Take care on your way back.
I will. Thank you, Kuragaya-san. Thanks.
Good night, Riki-kun.
It's official. She has a thing for him.
Even though I was a bit disappointed with how her arc ended when I first watched Refrain, my view on it might change once I finally get back to it. And maybe, just maybe, I'll love them even more for it. Now we get to one that had potential, but was ruined from the very beginning. Number 2 is Jintan and Menma from Anohana. Not only do I love their interactions with each other through the main story, but I feel that there were some developing feelings even in the years before the story takes place. It may have just been a simple crush then, but who knows where it could have gone down the road. Because of that, I actually think that they would have made a great couple if Menma didn't have her accident. Menma's death may have been a major blow for all the characters, but I think it was most painful for Jintan. It may be partly because Jintan was an indirect cause for Menma's death, but I think some potential feelings played a role in this. Despite all that, they just missed out on the number 1 spot. This final entry is from a movie that I'm surprised I've never mentioned in any of my videos since I reviewed it almost a year ago, but it more than earns this number 1 spot. Number 1 is Takaki and Akari from 5 centimeters per second. Where do I begin with these two? They began to develop a bond rather early on. It was rather heartbreaking to see that Akari had to move away, putting some distance between them. Then when Takaki himself has to move even further away, they planned to meet up. A plan that could have gone horribly wrong when Takaki's train started to run late. However, despite arriving several hours late, Akari was still there waiting for him. They shared a kiss and talked for hours until they fell asleep in a small shed. The scene when Takaki got on the train going back home was rather painful to watch because as far as either of them were concerned, that was the last time they'd ever see each other. The reason they're on top of the list is why they never became a couple. It's not because one of them died, or the fact that one of them ended up with someone else, though the latter is more or less true for both. The reason was because of time and distance. Also, even though part 3 takes place years after the previous 2 parts, it is made rather clear that neither have truly forgotten about the other. 5 centimeters per second is one of my favorite anime movies and is easily one of the best romantic tragedies I have ever seen. And the romance between these two was a major factor in that. And it's because of that, I chose Takaki and Akari to be my number 1 favorite shipped couple in anime. Go ahead and tell me down in the comments some of your favorite ships and your thoughts on some of these ships I mentioned here. You can go to the honorable mentions video by clicking right here or in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go check my vlogging channel Sleep Trying by clicking right here or in the description. Next video is going to be a review that I've been putting off for a while, but I'm finally getting around to doing it. And I hope you guys look forward to it too. But until then, this is the real Black Otaku signing out. See ya.